Gentlemen, I always enjoy talking to because we sometimes have some interesting discussions. Vincent would love me to change my lifestyle sometimes. Other times he goes along with what I say. Vincent, good afternoon. How are you this afternoon?
I'm very well, Richard. Good afternoon to you and to everyone who's listening. I'm really well and hope you guys are well too.
Which is good. The topic today, can we undo the damage of bad lifestyle habits?
Well, the short answer to that is yes, obviously you can, but you have to do it in the correct and right way. And I think the topic that you talked about before you had me on was really interesting because a lot of people think that to live healthy, that you have to be wealthy, you have to spend the extra money to buy organic, to buy quote unquote good food, healthy food. However, that is probably not necessarily true because just because you spend your money on what people perceive as healthier fruit and vegetables, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's better or healthier for you. But what I would say is that investing in your health is actually going to save you money in the long run because I heard a saying before that if you don't pay it at the register in terms of like investing in good food, fresh food, and processed food, you will pay it somewhere else in terms of your health and your life. So I really do think that one of the things that we can do in terms of increasing our productivity, making sure that we have the best quality of life is investing in your health.
Yeah, because it puts so much pressure on the whole system out there. But we see people who I stopped at a fast food chain the other day, I won't name them, to pick up a coffee in the morning. I have 2 coffees a day. That's all I ever have, which annoys people. I think sometimes when I go out and, I go and see a client, they'll always go, can I get you coffee, Richard? No, I've already had, one for the day and I might have one, let's say mid-morning. No, I'd love to make you coffee. And sometimes I've got to relent and then drop the other coffee. But I'm trying to have a bit more tea now. As well. But when I was in this fast food chain, there were kids in there getting breakfast. And that, it worries me. I've seen it in fast food chains. I've seen it in service stations. There was one a couple of months ago that, I was paying for petrol and there were 3 parents in front of me lining up, getting their kids pies and pasties for breakfast, which I think's, it's wrong, isn't it, Vincent?
Yes. Once in a while, it's fine. I mean, they should probably see that. I mean, the kids should probably see that as a treat. And it is important to have that sort of kind of treat and to have sort of kind of liberty to eat something that probably not necessarily healthy. However, being healthy and healthy lifestyle is a form of habit. It is something that you practice and you get better at it the more that you do it. So my concern is that if you start your kid off very, very young in terms of enjoying this, what's supposed to be an indulgence as a daily lifestyle, my worry is that they will then take it into the adult life and then pass it on to their kids. So this is something that it is beyond the short-term effect. It's more about the trickle-down effect, if you like.
I totally agree with you. As after the kids were getting pies and sausage rolls, I actually said to the person behind the counter, once they'd walked out, is that a common occurrence? He said it's every day with some of them. And that's awful.
Yes. One thing, though, that I have observation lately was that somebody mentioned it to me the other day that if you go into a fast food chain, it doesn't matter which one, just pay attention and make a little survey in your head. You very rarely see people who eat in the fast food chain or wait for their order actually smiling or being happy, as opposed to people who are sitting down in their local cafe having a good social life, social interaction as part of their daily life. So I really do think that while you can't be as strict as a model, for example, in what you eat, but there is a certain aspect, especially as parents, as someone that instill that daily habit, you need to take a little bit more accountability and the responsibility because it's not only about you, it's also about the next generation. And I think we need to be healthy. I read the other day on the news that I think 80% of Australians have more than one job. And when I say more than one job, I think the article pointed out to the fact that in this digital life, it's really easy for us to pick up a gig, a temporary gig, be it being an Uber driver or doing some digital work like photoshopping or digital marketing on top of your main job, because people now find that they need that extra income. And to be able to sustain this sort of kind of lifestyle, quote unquote hustling, you need to be healthy, not only physically but also mentally, because otherwise then you will burn out.
Yeah, I had somebody the other day go, how do you do all the hours that you do? And I do, I change, there are some hours that I do, in mind, but, I try to be aware of my health and what I do. I try to be as healthy as I can, but I have some unusual days. I mean, there are sometimes most days I'm probably, there's a couple of days a week that I start at 6:30 in the morning because I'm doing interstate radio. And then I'll come in on the weekends here at 5AA, but I've got, people during the week that I go and see my regular clients. So I'm a bit all over the place when it comes to that. So I'm very aware about trying to maintain my health as best as I can. But, in today's day and age, it becomes hard for people to do that sometimes.
Yeah, and many people believe that they can do a quick detox once every 3 months or 6 months to flush out all the quote unquote toxin or bad habits just to restore their health. And that makes them feel so kind of better because they are taking an action, they're doing something for their health, which is good. However, does it really work that way? And I can say to you, the short answer to that is no, it doesn't work that way. Our biological system is not the machine of a car that you just tune up every once in a while. It is about the daily habits. It's about all those little things that you do every day that builds up into a lifestyle. Because our body is a very complex, interconnected system. Every action that we take every day affects the body as a whole. For example, you mentioned about coffee just now. Drinking coffee every morning does not only affect your energy level, but it also affects your heart rate as well as your bowel movement. And this is something that a lot of people don't understand, because obviously if you don't have good enough sleep, if you stay up too late, or if your biological clock is all over the places, the quick fix for it is to increase your caffeine intake. However, that actually has a long-term negative impact to your overall health.
Geez, you've shot me down about the coffee, haven't you? No, that's,
two is a good number. I have to say, guilty as charged. I sometimes go up to 4. Yep. I have to say that sometimes. However, 2 is a good number. And like you say, Richard, it's really hard sometimes with coffee because it is also part of business interaction. It's also part of catching up with friends. Yes. Because I am not a tea drinker. I try to sometimes, but I also feel that if I'm going to pay $5, I don't know how much coffee now. If I'm going to pay $5, I want them to actually work for my $5, because otherwise I can just bring a tea bag and hot water. I'm kidding. Yeah. Obviously, we have to support our local small business. But what I'm saying is that you have, if you're so used to being healthy and practicing a healthy lifestyle, which is why just now I say it's a practice, you are, at the very least, you are aware when you're doing something that is not necessarily benefiting your health. So you fix it the next day. So instead of having your catch up with friends at 2 o'clock, you probably have it at 4 o'clock, where you actually have your morning coffee, or put it in the morning when you actually have your morning coffee. So all these little adjustments that you do starts off by being aware of your own lifestyle and by making adjustments. I'm not talking about making a big adjustment. It's just those little adjustments. But if you do it every day, if you are honing your skills in terms of being aware and fixing those things that probably are not as healthy for your body, that's a good way to start off a daily lifestyle.
And high sugar, low fiber diet, that's not good for you.
Yeah, of course, because with the high sugar, although it does give you that spike of energy for a short term, it really messes up your blood sugar level. And guess what? If you do that, then you find that you probably start craving more sugar. You probably start snacking more. And when coupled that with a really busy lifestyle, when people are busy, and including when you have lunch, when you're on the go, more often than not, you're actually making bad choices. So one of the good tricks to counter this is that if you wake up early, plan your meal ahead, bring your meal to work, you're actually training your brain to eat healthier. And remember when we were kids, people say that our parents said that eat your greens and everything.
Yeah.
That is actually part of training, because given the choice, I mean, there's obviously exception to the rules, but given the choice, obviously kids or even us as an adult will choose Ferrero Rocher compared to broccolini. It doesn't matter how good the broccolini is being cooked.
Yeah. But, seriously, but some parents have got to put their foot down with kids and go, eat your vegetables. It's not that hard. They taste nice.
But again, this is something that we as an adult have to be aware, because it is about practice. Say, for example, a lot of people, they like drinking soda. They like drinking their, Coke. They like drinking the lemonade. But you know what? A lot of times, and the research has shown this, that people who drink soda drinks, they're actually not after that sweetness necessarily, but they're also going for that refreshing sort of kind of sensation because of the carbonation. So try sparkling water. The other trick that I also find very, very helpful for me is that to wait at least 10 minutes before I go for my second plate, because it does take time for your body to signal your brain that, okay, that's enough. It takes time for your body to sort of kind of recognize that, I have eaten. And the same goes for when you're hungry outside your normal meal time. Drink a glass of water. Believe it or not, half the time, so 50% of the time when you're feeling that you want to snack, when you're feeling peckish, it is actually your brain trying to tell you that you're thirsty.
Yeah, because we don't need to eat as much as we do sometimes.
Exactly, and which brings me to one tip that I'm still working on this myself, clearing my house from chocolate, chips, biscuits, all the temptations that if it's there, and more likely, more often than not, for me, I'm not talking about everyone else. From my own experience, sometimes it's a losing battle. When you sit there, you're like, okay, well, let me just open this pack of Doritos, and I will just have 5 chips. It's never only 5 chips.
Yep.
Before you know it, you're watching Netflix, and the whole bag's gone, and
exactly,
you feel really bad about it.
Yeah.
And then that destroys your relationship with food.
But you think it's okay. It's only one bag of Doritos, and I've had a beer while I've been doing it. So it might be the beer in my case. Sometimes on a Saturday afternoon or a Sunday afternoon, you just sit there and go, no, I'll just and you end up eating the whole bag of chips, which is not good for you.
Exactly. And if you do it again and again, that forms a habit, and it's really hard to shake off a habit. It's easier to pick up bad habit than forming a good one. So at the very least, don't start forming a bad habit.
And detox programs, I'm very suspect about those.
I'm very skeptical, and I can tell you that nothing does the detox program for your body better than your body itself. Our body is very, very well engineered biologically to have our liver, our kidney, the whole system that detoxifies itself. And the best thing that we can do when it comes to detoxing ourselves is to make sure that we are not adding burdens or extra workload to our liver and kidney. Drink water, stay hydrated, eat your fibers. Don't drink alcohol excessively. Don't overload your body with refined sugar and refined carbohydrates. Make sure that you have this balance when it comes to what you're putting into your body, because that's the best way to support your body functioning the best way that it can. Because when it comes to our living space, we always try to make it tidy, clean. We sometimes even say that, hey, I'd like to update my kitchen, renovate the bathroom. Just have the same principle when it comes to your body. We only have one body. If we like this now with the the wonder of modern medicine. So we want to make sure that this one body that we're living in is as good as possible when it comes to doing its job.
Yeah. No, good, sensible advice as always, Vincent. Where can people find out more about you?
People can go to my website, anappleaday.au. We are basically a health and wellness company that is born out of science and born out of research from the University of Newcastle, Australia. Please check us out. We're in Woolworths, Coles, on Amazon. When you're supporting us, you're also supporting Australian apple farmers, because all of our products are made from 100% Australian apples.
Which is good, and which is why I like having you on. Vincent, we will talk soon. You have a good rest of the weekend, okay?
You too. Thank you. Bye-bye, everyone.
Thanks, Vincent. That was Vincent from anappleaday.com.au.